Dear Christian in the whole world and dear American President, dear European Union. This is Günther Fellinger-Jahn speaking. I'm calling here from Vienna to recognize the Republic of Biafra. Biafra in ex-Nigeria, Nigeria to my regret, and this is a non-working state, and they have committed genocide in 1967 to 1970 against the Christians of Biafra and the people of Biafra, and now they are all well, since the last 15 years, living in a terrible conditions. They are often led for some jihadists to kill them, and there is atrocities about atrocities. And it's much better for the people of Nigeria if Biafra becomes their own state, and they can sort out then inside Nigeria the other issues, or maybe there will be other regions which are better off in this non-working state of Nigeria. So ex-Nigeria must start with Biafra, and the international community, contrary to the 1960s and 70s, must support the independence of Biafra Republic. In the 1967-90, that tragic years, the West was at its weakest. There was the Vietnam War, and tragically Nixon, who was positive for the people of Biafra, but he did very little, and I want to apologize for his failures, and I want to especially criticize and also apologize for the Imperial UK and French governments who were actually supporting, due to all interests, Nigerian centralists crackdown on the poor people of Biafra. And we, as Christians, as Europeans, should absolutely stand with Biafra and support them. And that's why I call on President Trump and on the European leaders, Ursula von der Leyen, please, I beg you, I pray, recognize the Republic of Biafra. It's no need for military intervention or these things. Just do the political steps of recognition of these poor people to have their own state, to live in security, and of course then recognition goes with the ability to be recognized and also to defend yourself. It's much better than having a military intervention in Nigeria, having the Biafra Republic equipped and armed to be able to defend herself against the potential invasion from the Nigerian centralist forces of that failed state. And so here the defense comes with the recognition, and that's exactly how we should do. Biafra Republic, please my friends, I beg you, recognize it and build a strong, viable state, part of the free world, and that's what I call the Fellinger doctrine and also the Fellinger economics. Build a decent state, part of the free world, no BRICS but OECD, no kind of alignment with genocidal Russia, but alignment with America, with the European Union, with the free world, and we will have a free trade agreement, open economics, of course the flat tax, I like very much, and the currency, which Nigeria never did, to join the Euro-Pact area. This is the best policy for West Africa, and Biafra will be a proud member of the Euro-Pact area, and this will be delivering much more prosperity in the future, and we will trade and we will work together in the global partnership of NATO, and this is my call for Biafra Republic to be independent and to be part of the free world alongside Fellinger doctrine and Fellinger economics. And I thank you very much for your attention. Please, President Trump, please, Ursula von der Leyen, be on the side of the light, of the good people of Biafra, of the Christians of Africa, and allow them their own state to live in security and peace and prosperity.
The American president spoke about the genocide in northern Nigeria, Christians in northern Nigeria. That stood alone on his own. And then he proceeded and issued a second tweet. And I've reduced this tweet broadly to my own understanding. First, he said if the Nigerian government continues to allow, I read English language and linguistics before I read law, although I didn't graduate. But it left me with a lifelong predilection for linguistic exactitude. So when words are used, I am very, very deliberate about deconstructing words in order to understand what is said, so that there will be no room for ambiguity. Given the fact that I am not a native speaker of the English language. I find this the easiest way to understand exactly what it is that a person is saying at any point in time. He said, if the Nigerian government continues to allow, is this true? Has the Nigerian government continued to allow genocide in Nigeria? Now, if you know me, you will know that I am not a respecter of persons. I'm a respecter of truth. I do not need Trump to tell me that the Nigerian government is complicit in the genocide that has been taking place in the country. I do not require Trump, and I have been saying this consistently for a decade. In the public, in books, in speeches, in essays, there are substantial evidence in the public space to conclusively say that the Nigerian government allows what is happening. So let us be clear. We do not need Trump to tell us that, but he said that in his tweet. So I have no choice. I have to follow the truth. I have to agree with him. The Nigerian government allows the genocide because there is indeed a genocide. And I have called it that for at least a decade. I do not require Trump to tell me that there is a genocide going on in Nigeria that the government of Nigeria has allowed. I do not require Trump to say that. Commodore Laumi has already told us that. Bugaje has already told us that. Was it Baraje? He's already told us that. The fact that the creature called Ali Modu Sharif is still walking around in Nigeria and he remains a man of influence tells me everything I need to know about the complicity of the Nigerian state. Now, he said the USA will immediately stop all aids and assistance. I am forced to speak to a private encounter where I had occasion to speak to US government officials. And when I was asked, is there anything we can do for you? I said, no, we don't require anything from you. I want nothing from anybody. Just stick your nose out of our business. Because the American interest in Nigeria is not exactly benevolent. But that is another topic for another day. I was clear. Stick your nose out of our business. And stick your nose out of our business includes keep your aids, keep your assistance. It's not been beneficial to us. If anything, your aids and assistance have only served to keep us further impoverished and reinforced the evil that you have allowed to overtake our country. So let us be clear. I am all for you doing number two. Please, we beg you, stop all aids and assistance. But as you're stopping all aids and assistance, stop being the net recipient of our stolen commonwealth. I was in the US in the immediate aftermath of the 2023 election. And I was specific in saying exactly this. You allow things in Nigeria that you will not tolerate in your country. People who kill and murder Nigerians through your knowledge. They buy homes in your country. They have dual citizenship. They have residence in your country. You say nothing about this and you're threatening us about the withdrawal of all aid. Keep your aids, please. But remove these people. Don't stop allowing them access to your banking system. Stop allowing them safe havens in your country, not just in America, all over your sphere of influence. Force them to come back to Nigeria to solve our own problems. The reality is that what you give with one hand, you will take back with the other. Please, keep your aids. Please, keep your assistance. Now, you call Nigeria a now disgraced country. It wasn't disgraced under your rule. It's been disgraced a long time from inception. And it is up to us to make it honorable. But thanks for pointing it out to us. Because at least if the people who ruin this country will not hear us when we tell them. Perhaps they'll hear now that you are telling them how they've disgraced us all over the world. They come to you cap in hand, supposedly begging for charity from you, when you know how many billions they have stashed away in your banking system. So yes, the country is not just now disgraced. It's been disgraced for a while with your help. And I'm not talking about you, Donald Trump. I'm talking about America. I'm talking about the West. I'm talking about the rest of the world, including China and all the other people who have provided succor to those who have destroyed this beautiful country. So yeah, it's disgraced, but it was never really engraced. It is entirely up to us to do with it as we will, if we can find the grace to engrace it. Now, let us be clear about something. You're talking about coming to Nigeria, guns blazing. When the guns are blazing and the bullets are flying, we've seen examples of where America has done this everywhere in the world. We would rather you don't come into our country guns blazing. It doesn't really require you coming in guns blazing. It just requires you insisting on the right things being done in Nigeria. It requires judiciary, who you know how corrupt they are. You have access to intelligence that the average Nigerian can never touch. You know. And if they are indeed persons deserving of death, you have more than ample evidence. You know what you used to do. Do that. Expose them. Bring them to international trial courts that are built by you. The Americans and the West created the International Criminal Court. If they are indeed persons within the Nigerian power circle who are guilty of these things, you know what to do to bring them to justice. But please don't come into our country gun blazing. Nigeria is not Somalia, and is a multicultural, multi-ethnic society. We don't need you to come into our country guns blazing. You understand? Now, you spoke of Islamist terrorists. Why not tell us the truth? You know who they are. Commodore Umi told us. He flirted with it. He just couldn't release the names. But that is understandable. He's our own intelligence officer, trained by you as well. US was involved in his training. You guys have better files, access to better information than Umi ever had. Why not tell us who they are? Why not tell the world? So please, don't tell us about coming guns blazing. You know who the terrorists are. Tell us. The ones in the power structure of Nigeria, tell us. Expose them. And then you spoke of atrocities. The atrocities that have been taking place in Nigeria didn't start today. It started since around 2003. Sometime with American connivance and silence. We are aware. But we've been rendered powerless because America has been largely complicit in what has happened to us. You can help us. Yes, you can. America can be a true friend to progressive forces in Nigeria, but not by coming in with your guns blazing. We don't need you coming into our country guns blazing. Just stand by the truth and insist on the right things being done. Now you have discovered the cherished Christians in Nigeria. Where were these cherished Christians in 2014, 2015? When the Obama regime, whether you like it or not, at the end of the day, was the American government. When the Abacha and when the Obama regime was busy helping to install the APC government, which brought in the reign of Islamists and the attendant security challenges that we are facing today, that have been killing these same cherished Christians in droves for over a decade. What has America been doing about it, and what did America ever say? So I'm happy that all of a sudden America remembers that there are cherished Christians in Nigeria, but there are also cherished Muslims. There are cherished Shia Christians, Shia Muslims, who have been slaughtered in hundreds without America saying a word for years. So yeah, I agree with you in total. The Nigerian government had better move fast, because if it doesn't move fast, this country will be gone, whether America comes in gun blazing or not. And that is as far as it concerns the Americans. My enemy's enemy is not my friend. But the Americans are not our enemies. But they are also not our friends. Americans are Americans. Donald Trump is beholden to the American people. And it is his interest that Americans are bettered. So at any point in time, understand that he is elected to serve Americans. And when he is speaking promoting American interests. There are cherished Christians who are today being slaughtered in America, treated like animals in American detention centers, clamped in cages, and they are Christians. Latin Americans don't come more Christian than that. They're Catholics, largely Catholics. They don't ask your identity before they clamp you in their detention camps. So please, I do not require Mr. Donald Trump to tell me how nasty my country has become. It is nasty. Does it need help? Yes, we need help. Do we need to find ourselves? Yes, we do. Has Donald Trump lied in any way? No. He largely told the truth. My own position is that yes, help us, but we must help ourselves. It is up to us to help ourselves. Now, why I said I'll lay down the American case first is because it dovetails into what I had already set myself this week. No saints, no sinners, just Nigerians. I have repeatedly sang a particular song each time that this has come to mind, and that is the one where I have said, Boala Lowombe, that is, we are all guilty. Nigeria did not get to this point by accident. It is here by design. But we have acted horribly because we have allowed it, and we are equally complicit in what has overtaken us. My wife runs a business where she sells food. On a Sunday, pretty much like this one, she unexpectedly, at least her staff were not expecting her, so she went to the store. And on getting there, for some reason, inexplicable, because even on normal weekdays, she probably wouldn't have visited, but she went to the kitchen. And she found the staff. They had fried 3 crates of eggs. That's 96. I don't speak about my businesses, so I would avoid speaking, but some of the persons listening to me are familiar with the business about which I'm speaking. It's a food retail business. There were less than 30 people on duty. I think they had about 24 to 26 people on duty because it was a Sunday. They fried 96 eggs. That is more than 3 to a person. You know what's worse? They had no authority or right to fry anything. So this was taken out of stock. And nobody would have known anything about it because it would have been classified as breakages. And then they cooked, I know you'll find this incredible, but it was 12 tubers of yam that they cooked. 12 tubers of yam. 3 crates of eggs. Nigerians. And each and every one of them have at one point or the other had cause to speak about the corrupt government of Nigeria. They have had reason to speak to the wickedness of our rulers. But they did this. I wouldn't eat more than 1 egg fried. Each one of them had more than 3 when you consider the fact that they fried 3 crates of egg. That is not about satiating hunger. That is about being wicked. Now remember this. This wasn't something, this is not something the management was ever meant to find out. And it took the collective silence of those working there, all of them, for that to happen. and they will speak to the wickedness of the government. There was a day I was driving towards my office in Lekki, and I noticed that a light had come up on my dashboard suggesting that I had a flat tire. I had run flat, but it was necessary that I topped up the hair. So I parked by a vulcanizer at the junction to my office on Admiralty. And he said, oh, you have a couple of leakages. I didn't argue with him. I paid him. And he fixed it. So I drove away. And then I got back home, and in the following morning, the driver called my attention to the fact that when he was cleaning the car and he started it earlier on, he noticed that the light was on. The tire light was on again. And this was Monday now, so I asked him to take the tire to the Dunlop Center close to my house. And he went there. And by the time he got back, he said, oh, there was something wrong with the valve. So they replaced the valve. I never had any leak in my tire. But this vulcanizer, he had, anyway, I went back to him on my way to the office. And I said to him, you have apprentices, young boys, a couple of them probably in their early teenage years. And you're already teaching them to steal as part of them learning a trade. But he too will speak about the wickedness of Tinubu. He will tell you how wicked the government is. He will speak of the oppression of the ruling class. But he's a Nigerian. He is one of us. Just another Nigerian. When I